I saw this post this morning on Facebook, post by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Generally I am opposed to women being in politics, but there have been some exceptions. The first was Barbara Vukanovich, who was my congresswoman when we lived in the Reno, Nevada area. She was a good politician, if you want to call it that, conservative woman. I had the chance to interview her back in the mid '90s, and it was an honor to do that. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an interesting character. I generally agree with what she says, but look at this post about Obamacare. Now, ignore the bad language. I don't think that's appropriate for a lady who claims Christ as her Savior. Nor do I agree with her lifestyle. She committed adultery, I believe, and that's why her husband divorced her. I'm not quite sure. I've never spoken to her, but that seems to be quite common knowledge. Regardless, she is an elected official, and we are looking at something she's saying here about insurance. You can read it for yourself. I'm not going to read it all to you, except at the bottom of this particular part of the quote. She says, also, I think health insurance and all insurance is a scam. Just be clear. Friend, have you ever thought about that? Can you imagine what life would be like if you weren't forced to have insurance, especially health insurance? Years ago, when our children were little, we had need of hospitalization for one of our children that required some surgery. We had no insurance. We were able to pay it off, and I made hardly any money at all. I believe the bill was around $5,000. With insurance, it's more than quadrupled. I'm sure it would probably cost $80,000 for the same thing. Insurance drives the cost up. Your government is not helping you at all with health insurance. I know you don't believe that, but it is true. We can talk about car insurance and that scam at another time, but this is health insurance. And it is true, in my opinion, that she is right here. It is a scam. Now look at the next quote. You can read it on your own. You don't hate your government enough. That has got to be, without a doubt, one of the best comments I have ever heard any politician say. Friend, you've heard me say it before. I'll say it again. The federal government, primarily, and generally all governments, are your enemy. They steal your money. They rob you of freedom and liberties. You don't hate your government enough is exactly the attitude that every American should have, to hold these people accountable. I'm so glad she said this. So, think about it what you will. I think it's true. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.